Let me represent our phenomenal next speaker. That is Raisa Hamidulina, founder and CCO of PromoLens, with the topic AI challenges and opportunities in promotional pricing for e-commerce. She will address how AI can support smarter promotional pricing, covering data, modeling, and operational challenges. Please welcome Raisa to the stage.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really happy to see you here. And I'm Raisa, as I have been presented already. And last year, exactly on the same stage, we were presenting and kind of shedding the light on the topic of opportunity and importance of using AI and machine learning in retail and e-commerce pricing. Today, exactly same conference, but 12 months later, after having done our extensive market research, after having built our MVP and having worked with the first e-commerce clients, I'm here really to share with you what are the practical challenges and insights from our work that we have encountered and are facing nowadays. Please, I would like to draw your attention to the fact that we are speaking here about promotional pricing. So that's a little bit, sounds like a niche, and many people are asking, why not pricing overall? Why promotional pricing? Well, 60%, up to 60% of e-commerce revenue, sales revenue, comes from the products that are discounted or in some kind of promotion code is attached to it and so on. For the traditional retailers, this number can go up to 80%. So you can see that till today, and it is expected to be the truth for the future, the promotions, discounts, codes, and so on are going to remain the main lever when it comes to boosting sales in e-commerce and retail. So that doesn't sound like a niche anymore, does it? And this is like a really mind-blowing number. It's simply last year, 2024, one single day, Black Friday event, generated more than 74 billion US dollars. And what is interesting that for many e-commerce companies, this really accounts for 30 and even more % of annual revenue. This just gives you an idea that, well, companies who really depend on promotions and promotional pricing would already be doing something in order to make sure that they are 100% at their best ready for such important events, such as summer sale or Black Friday and so on. We did our research, and we did interview face-to-face more than 100 companies, e-commerce companies across UK, US, and Europe. We had an interview. We were speaking to marketing manager, e-commerce directors, CFOs, and CEOs. And we pay attention that here we are not speaking about H&M's, Zara's, we are not speaking about Walmarts of this world who have resources, who have dedicated data teams, data science teams, and they're building the models to address such an important topic. We're speaking about, let's say, medium to large size e-commerce companies. And most of them, well, all of them said that they're using an educated guess when it comes to the promotional pricing. This is strategy number one. Another strategy, well, you know, my competitors are discounting, so let me undercut their discount. Or yet another one is, okay, let's do, and we are doing things as we did last year. It worked. It gives me some kind of a insurance. I know what I got last year, so why not to repeat? And they end up in this cycle of continuous discounting, those discounts that are eroding their margins, and especially for brands, for many brands, the brand equity is being eroded as well. Because, especially if you are in a cycle of doom discounting, what we call it, discounting out of the momentum, and you are losing profit, this immediately will impact your product quality. down the lane, because somewhere you have to cut if you don't have enough profit, right? So, and we spoke to those marketing managers and e-commerce directors, and we were just like, why? And they said, we all are aware that this is important. We need something like that, but simply, we don't have a solution that is accessible, that is easy to use, and that just can really help us to put our finger on, okay, which marketing campaign is really good? Which promotion did really well, not only in terms of sales, but also in terms of profit generation? Because let's be honest, if you put a product on sale, the sales will go up. I mean, we haven't seen the opposite. So, welcome to the world of promotional intelligence, as we call it. It's a huge world, and it's quite a underserved, let's say, underserved market when it comes to the e-commerce especially. And this is the world where where PromoLens lives. And in order just to contextualize the whole presentation, when I'm going to speak about the challenges, I need to spend some time explaining what is it that we are doing. We are a SaaS platform. In our heart, there is AI and machine learning, hardcore machine learning and explainable AI. I will show you later how it works. But in a very short term, what we do, we really help our clients not to over-discount, okay? We just help our clients not to leave the money on the table when not necessary. Because when Black Friday comes, you have to discount. Everybody is discounting. You have to be there. But to which extent? Let's say, can you sell 100 units that you were planning to sell at 20% discount rather than 30? Those 10% makes big difference for the business overall. So for now, what we did, we built a plugin for Shopify, but we are going to be also an easy plugin for other large e-commerce platforms. What we do is that once if you're familiar with Shopify, you know there are many applications there that companies use. This is one of them. So once our customer connected, let's say, their shop to our platform, they get the first input is the insights on their past promotions. So we are just simply saying to them, okay, these promotions were good that you did. These promotions were not good at all, because we are providing the unique measurement of the true effectiveness of the promotion, the uplift. Then the most beautiful thing about what we are doing is that we are allowing our clients to build scenarios for the future. Let's say you have, in 1 month, you have a Black Friday planned, and you want just to see how is it going to perform. And our platform with high accuracy tells you what to expect. But then you can also play around scenarios and see and compare different scenarios and choose the one that is simply the best suitable for your business strategy. Because, well, your business strategy can be different. You need market share, fine. You need to sell as much as possible. You need to sell fast if there are some categories that are, for instance, expiring and so on. Or maybe this very quarter, you as a business, you really need the maximum profit that you can get. This is the scenario builder, but the next thing is the optimizer. It's even more complex, let's say, from the technical perspective model that provides you that sweet spot where, like, those 10% that I mentioned, can I sell the same amount of units, but at which optimal percentage of the discount? But this is even more. If you are driving our platform, using our platform towards your business goals, and you're saying market share is my goal for this quarter, then the system will just give you the optimal scenario, when to discount what, at which depth, and for how long. And it gives you the result that you can expect. This is how it works. I will just explain you where the AI is used. So data comes from Shopify. Then we use traditional ETL tools and We use LLM to contextualize and enrich data because this is the most crucial moment for the machine learning, because then the data is prepared for our machine learning, and we do use explainable AI. It's very important for us because we don't believe, okay, we want to avoid the black box effect, okay? So we want to be able to look under the hood and make sure that our models don't provide some false information. So after that, we also use AI for making our customers' experience better with the chatbot, with creating the insights. We use large language models. And then let's say once the scenario or optimized scenario is accepted by the client, and client says yes, this scenario creates, automatically pushes back to Shopify and creates the promotion. And then the most beautiful thing is, once you have created scenario and the promotion passed, let's say 7 days of promotions, PromoLens then provides you with the results, like this is what we predicted, this is what was the real result. This is the score of confidence here, there, congratulations, or we can do it better the next time. However, we have this continuous feedback loop, and more our customer uses PromoLens, better the models become for these particular customers, and more we have customers and industries on board, better our product becomes overall. Later, if it's okay. So this is where we are. This is what we do, and believe me, that wasn't an easy journey. It looks so easy on the on the slide, but and challenges. Oh my gosh! For those of you who have been here for several days of the conference, probably some things will sound repetitive, but I believe simply that it's just the reflection that the industry is at the point when the challenges in different areas of application of AI emerge and converge. We have two types of challenges. There are human challenges, let's call them, and there are the challenges related to data. And oftentimes, data-related challenges are very much dependent on human challenges. Let's start with the human challenge, with the harshest one, but interestingly enough, really just addressing certain very simple things that I'm going to speak about is just going to make your company many, many steps closer to applying any type of AI solution. It is very clear that, you know, when I was at the business school and we learned financial statements, and it gets very excited when you just can check a financial statement, look at the cash flows, at the state of the working capital, and you can guess what industry it is and what kind of business it is. So this is the same stuff. The data always reflects not only the kind of industry you are in, but also how you conduct your business. And this is fascinating, actually. The first challenge, and I will make a very concrete example of one of our clients, to whom, unfortunately, we could help only partially. The first challenge is actually, what promotional strategy is it that you are using? You know that in e-commerce world, there are different types of promotions. There are classical promotions, percentage off, amount off, buy X, get Y, free shipping, and so on. Summer sale, and so on. Then there is a vast amount of different codes, single, unique generated codes, just exactly for you, for this particular period of time, and so on. Then there are codes that are like summer sale, and so on and so forth. And what is it that you are going to use will impact a lot what you are going to get as the data output. So we have the client, supplements store, quite a young, let's say 3 years old or 4 years old, something like that, shop. And they chose to choose for their promotional strategy codes, using codes. And there were two types of codes that they were using. Welcome 30 for the new clients acquisition, and they were using something like 20% code, right? So now those codes were evergreen. They're on Shopify. Seem to be our ideal client. They have 3 years of data. But when we look at what is the data that they have, anything cannot be done with it, nothing. Simply because evergreen code, simply because this is a strategy they chose. And we only could apply to them our model of our platform that provides the analytics behind code usage, because codes are generally mostly used for the purpose of acquiring clients, retaining clients, or pushing client to buy something if, for instance, something is for a long time is being there on the basket. So, and the thing that we could manage to provide them as a feedback, not a promotion effectiveness because they didn't have promotions, we managed to help them understand that actually what they were hoping to get didn't work, because 99% of the clients who bought on Welcome 30 never came back. They bought just once. And their loyal clients were getting this 20%, but they were loyal clients who stayed, and they were kind of discriminated. So, and then the question from this inside arises, what was your problem? Is it the product quality? Is it your service? The problem is somewhere there, because your strategy simply doesn't work. And maybe it is better to concentrate on your loyal customer base and do something for them. This is one example where what kind of codes or promotions or whatever tool you are using in your promotional strategy is going to define whether or not certain AI solutions can be applied. Now, challenge number 2, it's business practices. This is something that can be really addressed quite fastly, but they're painful. This is an example from the Shopify. You see, when, for instance, the practice number 1, the Shopify provides you with all the possible, and other platforms as well, with all the possible forms and structures in order for you to create your promotion, in order for you to manage your promotion properly. But if your e-commerce specialist or marketing specialist is taking shortcuts, it just influences and impacts the quality of the data. Just a couple of simple examples. Example number 1, for instance, when I'm creating a discount, a nice promotional campaign, and then all of a sudden I just don't put the end date. Now, once again, our system will assume where it's ended, because we will see the dynamic of sales, okay? But if by just clicking this consciously, you can give 100% of assurance to an AI tool, that's much better. Another thing, for instance, would be instead of creating a promotion, though it is a promotion for a company, you just go and change directly prices in the system. So there is an option to create a promotion, but you just go and change prices directly. Then it's a price change, and again, it's gonna influence the data output. Another example also, if you don't use the platform for let's say ingesting the information about COGS, about marketing expense as well, this is gonna impact the possibility to apply the latest AI tools. And these are very simple. These are just daily practices. And this is then the last maybe, but a very, very nasty challenge, human challenge when it comes to the AI. We were speaking about this at AI Summit, at yesterday's presentations, everybody's speaking about this, is inertia. Inertia in general is the real enemy in our life, not only here. Just as a life example, a person gets excited for now about working out, 2 days, 3 days, but then, the old habits kick in. Or for instance, I had a friend of mine who had a heart attack, and for 2 months he was the best adept of healthy living, but then again, the normal modes kick in. And this happens the same with the companies. They get excited about a product, They even maybe do one use case, but then they just shift back to the old habits. And even when you are capable to demonstrate effectively that some things are killing your company, there is the shock. You have the evidence. Still, this doing things old way is really the main problem. Now let's go to the technical challenges. They are quite easy to solve, to be very honest. Nowadays, technology is at such a level where any kind of problem or business problem can be solved. You know, the solution will be found. It's absolutely not a problem. And the first challenge, very technical, that we encountered is data sparsity. You know what is data sparsity? So let's say that you have to make and build a profile, behavioral profile of a person after having spoken to this person just 2 times in 2 last years. You just simply don't have enough meaningful data in order to make to find that pattern and to build your prediction based on that pattern. So, but these challenges can be easily addressed, not easily, but can be addressed by tuning your algorithms, by applying the hierarchical models, and so on and so forth. Now, second challenge, it is a derivative of actually the human practices, let's say. If you are in e-commerce business, probably you know, for instance, if you are managing data of e-commerce business, that is very hard to get all the data in one place, right? So, and we encounter this challenge over and over again where e-commerce directors have no information about marketing spend because marketing department has it. And then they're sending it sometimes, from time to time, in the form of PDF, right? So, or another thing is for instance, the same COGS and so on. But these are challenges that we can address. We have to make sure that our clients simply understand that it will be an additional step for them. We can do a beautiful CSV upload or whatever. Nobody likes it, but hey, you have an opportunity to use your platform at the best of its ability and have all the information in one place, but you know. So this challenge we are addressing not in the optimal way, but we are addressing it. And the challenge related to the data quality is, please, if you're in e-commerce retail business, watch out for anything that is evergreen. If you are having an evergreen code for 5 years, well, it's going to be, you know, for the machine learning, for the machine to learn, you have to have moments of when code is on, when the code is off. This is just as simple. And it's not gonna, even if you are, for instance, you want to have this code forever on, this is something that is important and integral to part of your strategy. You can just have short moments of having it off or changing some parameters about this code just to allow the machine to learn. Knowing this will just simply help you. We just simply help any business person to understand what to choose. Because, to be very honest, 2-3 years ago, the situation was quite different. 2-3 years ago, AI vendors, AI solution providers, were running after the companies and just telling, please use us. They were over-promising just to get a client, saying, we will do everything for you. Everything is going to be seamless. Whatever problem you have, the database, whatever problem, we are going to address it. You are not going to feel a thing. And businesses would say, well, show me, impress me, let's see. Let's do POS for free. Nowadays, the situation changed. And again, if you were part of this conference for these days, you could sense it. Now, all of a sudden, businesses are very much interested in having AI solutions. Businesses understood that there is an urgency. If they want to stay, let's say, competitive, they need AI. So businesses are quite more open towards, okay, let's talk what can we do in order to be ready also for the AI implementation. And so I will leave you just with this question hanging like, I don't know, whose accountability is responsibility it is to make AI and business meet as soon as possible, and where is that meeting point? That would be it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Raisa, for this amazing speech. I saw also, again, people like taking shots. Again, reminder, from my side, approximately in 3 weeks, you will have access to all presentations. So I'm really happy that you enjoy, that you find a lot of slides interesting. And regarding the photos, you will have them from tomorrow already. Let's start with questions. And,
Yes.
yeah? Just please first mic for the recording. Yeah.
It was very interesting. Thank you very much. I have two questions. First one, are you able to deal with different pricing on different websites, meaning like own-operated online store as marketplaces? Is it possible?
Yes. It's multi-country, multi-shop solution.
Good. Second one, and a little bit more complicated maybe, how do you deal with the propositions being done by the AI, taking into account the discount ruling from one country to the other? Giving an example, when you have already done a discount in France, you're not able to do another one for the next 4 weeks unless you use the latest applicable price. How do you take that into account?
Thank you so much. This is actually a great question. And we always say, for instance, we are as well speaking with American clients, and the complexity there of the law around discounts is immense. And so the point is that all these rules are coming into our algorithms. It must be. Our machine will never suggest something that is not, it will not suggest a discount for the item you don't have available, or because it's unlawful, because you cannot do this, and so on and so forth. And so this makes the life much easier, because if you have especially an assortment of hundreds of thousands of SKUs and you have to follow thousands of rules, it just makes it easier, but this is becomes an essential part of the algorithm. Thank you. You're welcome.
More questions? Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much,
much.
Raisa. Please, ladies and gentlemen, Raisa,
Thank you.
please make sure to follow on LinkedIn to connect and to connect on the upcoming coffee break. We'll have a half an hour and see you again here at 11:30 to continue with e-commerce.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Thank
Raisa.
you.